If you have a hard time with boundaries, how might your life be different if you could say no as easily as a joyful yes? I'm Love Coach Mariya, and for over a decade now, I've been encouraging folks to empower their compassion so it's big enough for ourselves as well as others, and so our boundaries can become healthier than ever. You're listening to Empower Your Compassion, and on this show, we'll be unlocking transformative insights to help you reconnect to your true yes, so you can say no from that more expansive energy and get more of what you want in your relationships and your life without sacrificing your compassion. Are you ready for more love? Let's grow. Hello, gorgeous. Welcome back to the show. On my journey of healing into boundaries, there's a lot I had to learn and unlearn, and patterns I had to see and disassemble and reassemble so that I could engage with other people from my truth and honor that truth for me and be able to stay resourced for the people and projects I care most about. In that process, there were a number of elements and tools that went into place that have supported me in reconnecting to my true yes and my no, to my core values, and to root my security within myself so that I could brave the risk of being rejected that's inherent in speaking our truth. Because the fact is, sometimes we do lose people. Sometimes it does lead to conflict. And sometimes we do get our arm twisted by a gut-wrenching guilt trips. And staying true to ourselves in the face of those types of responses can be really, really trying, at least for some of us. So while I haven't exactly mastered it yet, I have come to the point where I feel like I've got a nice and complete set of tools for this process of developing healthy boundaries as like a long-term healing, but also for implementation in any given moment where I need to find my yes or my no. And I've called this the Gates method. And the reason I call it that is because I like to say that most people's boundaries tend to show up as either flimsy fences, where we say yes too often, or spiked walls, where we say no too harshly. And the healthier middle way looks like selective gates. These are where we draw our boundaries around behaviors instead of people, effectively giving them the keys to accessing us through the gates that we've installed. And the Gates method is an acronym, and it stands for ground in your body and your values, assess your capacity and your true yes, trust in the other's ability to manage, express your no without disconnecting, and steward your precious resources. So at the start of this podcast, a few months back, I did a series with a few of my guests to dive into each of those steps. If you look back to episodes 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, I don't think I made it explicit in the title or the show notes, but those episodes dive into the G, the A, the T, the E, and the S. So now what I'm doing is revisiting the series in my solo episodes. And today we're going to dive into the G of the Gates method, ground in your body and your values. One of the greatest benefits in my experience with this grounding, when it comes to boundaries especially, is that getting into your body is really the most effective way to be able to discern the difference between safe and unsafe discomfort. Our mind is wired to prioritize the familiar over the unfamiliar, regardless of the level of safety. The evolutionary rationality is, hey, we took this path yesterday and there was no saber-toothed tiger. We didn't die. Granted, we got all cut up by brambles, but we survived. So why venture down another path with unknown dangers? Let's just stick to this one that didn't kill us. So in that scenario, you've got unsafe discomfort that won't kill you and unknown discomfort that could be safe or dangerous. But in the modern world, most of the discomforts we are faced with aren't life-threatening. And we can apply our thinking mind to do a pretty reasonable safety assessment. But when our body feels unsafe because of the unfamiliarity of something new, we have to incorporate the wisdom of the body as well as the mind to help us make that decision. Because on the one hand, our body is registering discomfort, which sends alarms to the mind that it must be unsafe. And so we have to get them working in tandem to be able to, again, ascertain whether this is safe discomfort or unsafe discomfort. But the mind alone isn't going to be able to figure it out. And the body, on like a surface level, it might be kind of confusing, but the more you develop a relationship with your body and learn its language of subtle sensory input, it can really guide you to the truth. Now, there's a lot of different ways to develop an embodiment practice, and that practice can have multiple components to it. You might want to utilize a sports component. You might want to use some gentler movement, like perhaps yoga. You can do seated meditations. My favorite is like a chakra meditation. There's all kinds of ways to get in your body and bring your awareness into your body and start learning to pay attention to what it's signaling to you and what it means through maybe some trial and error in the beginning. But eventually you'll become fluent in the language of your body and your nervous system. And I will say that for me, that was one of the biggest catalysts for my growth. I learned a lot. I studied a lot. I implemented a lot of tools at the mental level, and it got me so far in my personal growth. But it wasn't until I finally unlocked that embodiment aspect that I was finally able to really create some more substantial change in my life. And this is why the very first step in the Gates method is ground. And I say ground in your body and your values because, again, that's that union of the heart and mind, and they can both serve as really powerful anchors for us. Being in our body can really bring us into the present moment. Regulating our nervous system can help us think more clearly, and staying connected to our core values can help serve as a compass heading for our choices. So when you're faced with an offer or request that you might typically be a reflexive yes to, sometimes people come up to you and they're like, hey, can you? And you're like, yeah, sure. What do you need? Like, take a beat. Hear the offer or request before you respond. And even then, once you receive the offer or request, from that grounding, you might have more clarity on your truth, but you still need to assess your capacity. And that's the second step. But we'll get into that in the next solo episode. This grounding piece, though, is again for making sure that we're even able to access our truth. Now, I mentioned a few different options for embodiment practices, and I want to share with you today another one that I find very powerful. And in fact, I recommend doing it daily, if not multiple times a day. It's a somatic centering practice, and I'm going to walk you through it. And it's going to sound a little bit like a guided meditation, but I encourage you to keep your eyes open when you practice it so that the nutrients of it are more easily accessible to you in your day-to-day life. I also recommend doing it standing. If you need to stay seated, that's fine. I'm going to stay seated, but it's easier to get the full body experience when you're standing. And if you really want to take it to the next level, I love doing this on a walk because that way I'm also like stepping into it and moving through it. So that's all my preparatory tips. I'll also add that what we're going to be doing is moving our awareness through different dimensions or aspects of our physical being. And from each one, we're going to access a different energetic. All right. If you're not standing yet and you're able to, go ahead and take this moment to get into a relaxed standing position. And the first dimension I'm going to have you bring your awareness to is your length. So notice your feet on the ground. Bring your awareness all the way up through your legs and then follow your spine all the way up and imagine there's a string pulling your head straight up from the top, and see if you can lengthen your spine just a little bit. From our length, we tap into the experience of dignity. Just breathe into your dignity for a moment. The next dimension is our width. So go ahead and bring your awareness now to your outer edges, your cheeks, the outsides of your arms, the outer edges of your ribs, the sides of your legs, and maybe even bring your arms out just a little bit and see if you can feel the energy of other living beings around you, whether it's other people in the room, in your home, plants around you, animals outside, people in the city. From our width, we access belonging. Breathe into your belonging here. And now we're going to shift into our depth, which has 3 parts. So we're going to start on our back side. Bring your awareness to the back of your head, your back, the back of your torso, the back of your legs, and maybe even lean back an inch just to engage those muscles. Everything that's at your back, behind you, your past, all of the life lessons you've learned, your ancestors, all of what's behind you, from this orientation, we tap into our support. Go ahead and breathe into your backside and feel supported. Now we're going to bring our awareness to our front side. Notice your face, your chest, your tummy, the fronts of your thighs, your shins. Everything ahead of you is your future, is what's ahead of you. It's your dreams and your goals and your desires that are calling you forward. You can even extend your arms out a couple inches like you're going to step into it. And this is where you can experience your progress. You are progressing toward your goals. Go ahead and breathe into that for a moment. And now we shift our awareness to our inner dimension, our inside, all the way up and down. Go ahead and feel into your feet again. Feel rooted in the ground. Notice the blood coursing through your veins. Become aware of all of your senses. Look around you and notice that you're safe in this moment. Be present. From this internal middle dimension, we can access presence. Go ahead and breathe into this moment. And now, I invite you to place a hand on your heart and a hand on your belly and tap into your center. Think about something that you are such a full-bodied yes to that it's like a driving force in your life. For me, that's empowering compassion. For you, it might be connecting with your family or other people, contributing to your community, making an impact in the world, or expressing your creative authenticity. But whatever that is, take this moment to commit to that and decide that the very next step you take will be from your center and it will be on your path of purpose. And if you're able to, you can even literally take a step into that. And notice how grounded you feel in your body right now. Again, I recommend doing this practice at least once a day, if not multiple times. And if you can do it on a walk, get that movement going into it as well. One of my favorite times to use it is when I'm feeling very frustrated or torn, or maybe like I'm inclined to do something that's not really aligned with my values and goals, but I can't really access the will to do what I know is right and true for me. It can help me recenter. Sometimes I even have to do it twice. But anytime you notice that you've maybe stepped out of alignment, this can always help you get right back into it. And it's such a beautifully somatic, embodied way to adjust your vibrational frequency as well. So tying this all back into boundaries, as I mentioned before, the very first step of the Gates method is ground in your body and your values. And this is a really wonderful way to anchor in your body. And whether or not you do this as a way to give an honest response, just like any meditation practice, it's a strengthening exercise so that when you need it, it's practiced and accessible. So really, it's just a great way to build that foundation for you. And as I mentioned, the next step is going to be doing a quick assessment of our capacity and what we're truly a yes to. So I'll speak more to that in the next solo episode. And in the very next episode, I have a lovely guest who is an expert in Feng Shui. And because it'll be Valentine's week, I'm having her speak a little bit to some ways to call in love and nurture the love that we do have in our lives. If you'd like to learn more about the Gates method and some additional tools for enhancing your boundaries and your relationships, go to boundariesthatfeelgood.com and you can download a jam-packed free PDF. that'll help you learn how to stay boundaried and connected. And while you're here, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share this show so we can spread the love. And wherever you're at on your journey, I send you love and courage. Namaste.